Hey everybody, this is my Chun-Li breakdown using the footage I collected from E3 as well as some new information for the beta for Street Fighter V. We're going to go over her normals, her specials, and her super and her V trigger. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's movement. Her walk forward speed is very fast. It's among the fastest in the cast. It's on par with Cammy's, but her walk back speed is not as quick. Now her forward dash covers a lot of ground and is quite quick, but her back dash is about the same speed but doesn't cover as much ground. Now her jump is still as floaty as usual. You gotta be really careful when you use her jump, especially when you just do it raw without like a knockdown or something, because you're giving your opponent so much time to anti-air you, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's standing normal attacks. Let's start with her standing light punch. Her standing light punch is really fast, and it also hits crouching opponents, even though it doesn't look like it does. Her standing medium punch doesn't have that good range. It looks very silly in this game, but it's mostly combo filler. It's basically one of your core combo tools because it gives a ton of frame advantage. You can link a lot of stuff afterwards, such as her crouching medium kick. Also, when you have V trigger activated, Chun-Li's standing medium punch gives so much frame advantage that you can actually link a crouching hard punch from it, so it's a very, very good combo tool. Her standing hard punch has excellent range, but it's pretty slow. It's got some recovery to it, so you gotta be careful just throwing these out blindly because you can need to jump in for it. Chun-Li's standing light kick has a pretty good vertical hitbox, but I wouldn't really use it as an anti-air. She's got better tools for that. It doesn't hit crouching opponents, by the way. Chun-Li's standing medium kick has got good range just like her standing hard punch, but it's a little bit faster, but of course does less damage. Also, when the V trigger is activated, it does some pretty good juggle properties on the opponent if they get hit by it when they're in the air. Chun-Li's standing hard kick has excellent range, but it does not hit crouching opponents. It can also be used as a ghetto anti-air. It's got some juggle properties to it, and it's her main crush counter tool. She only has one crush counter, so don't forget about that. And if you use it as an anti-air and you crush counter, you can actually link into your super from it. And of course, if you get a crush counter on the ground, you still have enough time to do a super as well. Moving on to Chun-Li's low normal attacks now, let's start with her crouching light punch. Her crouching light punch is really fast and it's one of her main combo starting tools. The only bad part about it is that it doesn't hit low. Chun-Li's crouching medium punch is a new type of slide attack. It goes underneath fireballs, and that's pretty much its primary use. You gotta be really careful when using this up close because you won't have a lot of frame advantage afterwards. It can actually just sweep or punish you, so you gotta make sure you hit this at max range. It also doesn't do that much damage, so keep that in mind. Chun-Li's crouching hard punch hits twice. The first hit is special cancelable. It's mostly a combo tool used for punishes. And when you have your V trigger activated, the second hit of this punch, which will be the 6th hit, is special cancelable, but only by EX moves. You can also cancel it into super, so it's got a weird property to it that's not very common in the Street Fighter series. Now Chun-Li's crouching light kick is pretty much another combo starter that hits low. You can link it into a crouching light punch, for example. Chun-Li's crouching medium kick is very, very good. It's pretty fast. Not fast enough to link to some combos when you don't have V trigger activated, but you can link it after a standing medium punch, for example. It hits low. She's very low profile, so it beats out a lot of attacks. You can also cancel it into super and special cancel from it. I'm pretty sure it's her longest normal that she can special cancel from. Chun-Li's crouching hard kick is okay, I would say. I guess you kind of could use it as an anti-air at max range, but for the most part I haven't found too many good uses for it, otherwise being just a sweep. Okay, let's talk about Chun-Li's notable jumping normals. Let's start with her jumping medium punch. Her jumping medium punch is pretty much just an air-to-air. If you can land a counter hit with this, it puts the opponent into a juggled state, where you can follow up with step kicks, for example. Chun-Li's jumping hard punch hits twice, but you can position it so it only hits once. In the air, when you hit it twice, it won't put them in a juggled state like before. You have to be in V trigger, and you can only hit one hit of the two punches to follow up with something, such as step kicks, for example. Chun-Li's jumping medium kick is her primary cross-up tool. If the hitbox is not the best, if the opponent is crouching, for example, you might outright miss them. It's pretty much used after a head stomp, for example, and you're in the perfect position to cross them up with a jumping medium kick. Chun-Li's jumping hard kick puts the opponent in a juggled state if you have V trigger active. Otherwise, it's just a decent jump-in attack on your opponent. Finally, we have Chun-Li's neutral jumping hard kick, one of the best neutral attacks in the game so far. Really, really good range, and it hits on both sides. Keep in mind that Chun-Li also has an air throw in Street Fighter V. After the air throw, it puts Chun-Li pretty much at crouching medium kick range. Let's talk about command normals now for Chun-Li. She's got a bunch of them. This is either back or towards medium punch. You cannot special cancel from it. It's got excellent priority, it beats out a lot of attacks, it comes out really fast, and it's a lot longer range than her neutral standing medium punch. One last thing to note is that you can Kara throw with this. It has a lot of range to her throw. Next up we have Chun-Li's back hard punch. This also has a good hitbox on it, beats out a lot of attacks, and it comes out quite fast. It's also a good combo tool when you have V-trigger active. Now I've heard rumors that when you have V-trigger active and you use her back hard punch, it can actually nullify projectiles, but I don't have any footage of it. Next up we have Chun-Li's down forward medium kick. This is Chun-Li's primary overhead attack. You can't actually link anything after it unless you're in V-trigger. When you're in V-trigger, it does enough hit stun, you can link a crouching light punch after it, or you can land a standing medium punch. But overall this is a really good overhead, it comes out quite fast. You're now looking at Chun-Li's back hard kick. This is her primary anti-air tool. It beats out pretty much everything I've seen so far, so it's got excellent vertical hitbox on it. Moving on to Chun-Li's forward hard kick, this is one of her better command normals. First off, it's high profile, so it beats out a lot of low attacks. It causes a lot of hit stun when your V-trigger is activated, and you can follow up with it with a standing medium punch, for example. But one really cool thing is that when the opponent is knocked down and you use this right next to them, you can actually cross over the opponent with this, so it can be kind of gimmicky too. Chun-Li's last ground command normal is her down forward hard kick. This makes her flip to the other side and kick the opponent. The hitbox not the best on this. If the opponent is crouching, it'll outright miss them, but you can follow up with some attacks after this. You do have some frame advantage. But the problem is that you really got to know your range with this. It's always a set range, so sometimes you might be doing it too far and you can't follow up with anything. Finally, we have Chun-Li's step kick or head stomp. This is done by doing down and medium kick in the air. This can be done 3 consecutive times. It all combos into each other. When you land a step kick on the opponent, whether it hits or blocks when they're on the ground, you lose all momentum, which allows you to do another step kick pretty much, or you can land a cross-up medium kick. It has a lot of uses, it's got a good hitbox on it, and you can either move up to the opponent and do an instant head stomp as well, which is pretty cool. You can also combo into Chun-Li's head stomps after her V skill. You can pretty much combo her head stomps after anything that puts the opponent into a juggled state. After you do your head stomps, you can combo into EX lightning legs, and if you have V-trigger activated, you can combo just into your normal lightning legs in the air. Chun-Li still has her wall jump in Street Fighter V. Just simply jump towards the corner of the screen and then jump in the opposite direction. She can even do this after her V skill. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's special attacks now. Let's start with her fireball. This is done by charging back and then pressing forward and punch. Her normal fireballs, none of them go full screen. The lighter the version that you use, the further the fireball goes, but also the slower it goes. The EX version comes out quite fast. It does 2 hits but doesn't knock down the opponent, but it does go full screen. Chun-Li recovers pretty damn fast after using the EX version of her fireball, and if you do it at point blank range, you can even combo after it with a normal attack. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's spinning bird kick. This is done by charging down and then pressing up and kick. The stronger the version you use, the further she travels, and of course the more damage it does, but it's pretty much used as a combo ender tool, especially the light kick version, which combos after a crouching light punch. Chun-Li's EX spinning bird kick is still a pretty good reversal attack, but it can be easily baited if the opponent just neutral jumps or simply just blocks it because it's got some recovery. It also is good for juggling the opponent when they're put into a juggled state. Chun-Li is also stationary when she does this attack. Chun-Li's lightning legs returns to Street Fighter V with a little twist. This time, instead of performing it by rapidly pressing kick, you just have to do quarter circle forward kick now for it to come out. It's pretty much just a combo ender tool. A lot of it's unsafe when you use it close to your opponent. It does pretty good chip though. It does great damage. If you combo after a crouching hard punch with Chun-Li, cancel that into the light version of her lightning legs, you can follow that up with a link with a crouching light punch. So that's a pretty interesting tool, but it's pretty much just for punishing. One more thing about her normal lightning legs is that you can super cancel from it, but there's a lot of scaling when you do it, and you can only do it during the beginning frames of the lightning legs. Her EX lightning legs does a lot of damage. It's an excellent combo ender, but like I said, she's still unsafe. Chun-Li's lightning legs can also be done in the air, but I honestly haven't found a real good use for them. No matter what version of the kick you use, it gives her a forward momentum, so if you jump over a fireball, like a neutral jump for example, you can move forward a little bit and close the distance. The EX version of her lightning legs, like I said before, will combo after her head stomp, so that's a good combo ender in the air. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's V skill now. Now Chun-Li's V skill has a couple of uses. First off, it makes her leap forward at a pretty low height, just high enough that she can go over fireballs for example and close the distance with the opponent. This is also a good option to use if you want to jump towards your opponent because, you know, her jump is so floaty, so this gives her another option, a little safer, but it's still pretty slow where your opponent can anti-air it. Now, the problem with this V skill is that the only way to gain V gauge with this V skill is to actually land an attack with it. Her V skill has its own hitbox. So if the opponent blocks it, you gain a little bit of V gauge, and if you hit them with it, you gain a little bit more. Now after you land the V skill, you can follow up with step kicks, and that all juggles together. Unfortunately, I haven't found really any way to combo into her V skill besides landing a jumping attack such as a jumping hard kick. Let's talk about Chun-Li's V reversal now. She pretty much does this palm smash towards the opponent, but it doesn't knock them down, so it's supposed to be used to keep the momentum against the opponent, and I haven't found any attacks to combo after it, unfortunately. Alright, let's talk about Chun-Li's super now. Her super comes out quite fast. It's really easy to combo into off most of all of her attacks that are special move cancelable. The only problem is it doesn't go full screen, so it's not exactly the best thing to use when punishing fireballs. They also took out the ability for her to jump afterwards on the last hit. That's gone now. One last thing to mention about her super is that it's a snag kind of super, so if you land the first hit of it, it'll go straight into animation regardless if your opponent is in the air. So anything that does like puts the opponent into a juggled state and you link into the super, you'll get the full animation. Okay, moving on to Chun-Li's V trigger. This actually does a couple of things, but on a very basic level, it enhances all of Chun-Li's normal attacks. So all of her normals gain extra amount of hit stun, including her light normals. So her light normals do a little bit more damage as well. Now her medium normals will do an extra hit on it, and then our hard version of her normals will do an extra 2 hits on it. And this of course does a large amount of hit stun, which allows her to do combos that she otherwise couldn't do. Now there are some things that are kind of hidden from it too, like for example her back hard punch apparently can nullify fireballs, her jumping hard kick, jumping medium punch all cause juggled states. Her standing medium kick also puts the opponent in juggled states where you can follow up with other normal attacks. You can follow her head stomp with her hard kick, which puts the opponent into a juggled state. There's a lot of things, man. I don't know all the information. Another thing too is that her crouching hard punch will do 6 hits because it adds 2 to each hit, and then on the 6th hit you can actually cancel it, but only cancel it into her EX specials or her super. It's also worth noting that she can V cancel this really easily from her back hard punch or her crouching hard punch on the first hit, and then you can follow this up with a standing medium punch. So that's a very good way to confirm this and then land some extra damage. Alright guys, that's it for the Chun-Li breakdown to prepare you guys for the beta. I also have some sample combos if you'd like to check that out. That will be in the description of this video. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and then I'll be releasing my last breakdown, which will be for Birdie next.